How to smell like $1,000,000. So, the first rule, starting simple, shower. Basically, that's the easiest thing you could do in this 3-step rule that I'm talking about. The first step, again, shower, mainly because it's the truest, tried and truest way to not smell bad, and the frequency of your showers or baths, whatever, it's pretty good to shower every day. Now, you don't have to wash your hair every day. Especially if you have dry hair, washing your hair every day is probably just going to dry it out more. Maybe you could do it every other day. But in general, besides your hair, you could always just put on a shower cap if you want. Taking a shower every day is a good idea because, just good hygienic routine. And taking a shower doesn't take up that much energy either. So, first rule out of the way, which is also the most obvious rule. Going on to a slightly less obvious rule, which is taking care of your skin. And not just in terms of lotions and things like that, but in terms of just in general scents that you put on your skin. So, I've talked about this in a separate video, but a really good way to just start smelling good is start using products with just a little bit of scent. Now, I don't recommend artificial scents, and there are quite a lot of those, and they're hard to avoid. But if you could add more natural scents, sometimes there are soaps with natural fragrances or lotions with natural fragrances, and then, you put that on your skin every day, you're naturally going to have this very faint but very pleasant sort of smell about you. I personally really, really love, there's this one brand of, I don't remember the name, I think it's goat milk soap, and it has such a wonderful, delicate, smooth and creamy sort of scent. Just a very natural sort of thing, very nice for the skin. Of course, people won't be able to smell it unless they're very close to you, but just knowing that you smell good is a good start. Like I said, avoiding artificial fragrances. Sometimes they're called perfume, if you look at the ingredients label, or just fragrance. And whenever you just see fragrance, it's such a vague thing, you don't know what that fragrance is. So try to be, more specific, maybe towards the more natural side so it doesn't irritate your skin. If you have tougher skin, it probably won't matter too much, but those with sensitive skin can get rashes and things like that. But besides that, once you, kind of find your own routine of products to use, then of course, the final step, and another obvious step, is the fragrances that you use, the actual perfumes or the clones or things like that. So, obviously, if you want to smell rich and expensive, the thing is, you gotta make sure you choose fragrances that have that smell about them. Now, there are many songs that mention people who use cheap perfume, and you can smell cheap perfume, especially if you enjoy different fragrances and you smell a lot of them, you can eventually determine what's cheap and what's not cheap. And I would say the main indicator of a cheap, and by cheap I mean poorly crafted fragrance, is that usually, they might smell bad, but usually they're very, very weak. They smell diluted, and they don't last very long. So you have to put on quite a lot of it to get it to stick. So, if you want to avoid that, you want to have a more top shelf aura about you based on your fragrances. I'll recommend a few, some of my personal favorites. I'm going to start with actually my favorite, which is Oud Satin Mood. Now, the reason I mention this, first of all, the brand alone, high-quality French brand, they're known for producing extremely, extremely luxurious fragrances. And that is something to look out for, is to purposely go after perfume manufacturers who are known for producing high-quality products. That way, you're not getting anything, cheap. But this one in particular, the reason why I like it, it is the perfect blend between Turkish rose and oud. Oud being a very rare and exotic, musky sort of wood, and of course roses blended in there. So those two notes alone create the most amazing, attractive sort of fragrance. It's actually unisex. This is definitely, it's on the heavier side, but definitely not super heavy. Just more of kind of a warm, I mean, like it says, satin. It's very satiny, smooth, you know, that sort of thing. With a little bit of warmth from the oud. Extremely delicious. I've said in a previous video, this is a special occasion sort of fragrance. This is like if you're going to a really nice dinner or to the theater or something, like somewhere nice. But yeah, this is, I mean, obviously this is a higher price point, but what you get is unparalleled. It's very unique smelling because of the blend of the oud and the rose. And besides that, it's very long lasting because it is a heavier fragrance. But yeah, this is one of my favorites, really, really attractive. Then, I gotta mention the classic. Now, some people don't like Chanel No. 5 because they think, oh, this is an old woman's fragrance. And it is true that this is an old fragrance. It's about, well, it's more than 100 years old. However, it is still the best-selling fragrance in the world, and it has a reputation, it's always had a reputation, for being extremely elegant, extremely classy, and having a classic femininity about it. Because, unlike a lot of modern female fragrances at least, instead of being very sugary and sweet, this is more smooth, mellow, warm with some florals. So it has like these florals and aldehydes mixed with oak moss, amber, sandalwood, things like that. So definitely a good option for a slightly lower price point. This is about $90 for the standard bottle. So it is more affordable than, you know, a $300 fragrance. So this is a good option. Also, this is good for daytime and evening use, you know, very versatile. You could use this for formal or casual occasions. Then, this is Dior Homme, which is a men's fragrance. However, I always like to say that it's a pretty good unisex option because it is a good unisex option. It has a nice iris note, which adds just a touch of sweetness, but in general, it's kind of this natural yet crisp, very clean sort of scent, which I think makes it a really good option for both men and women. I like to wear this on occasion. Every time I wear it, someone compliments me. Every single time. Now, there are different variations of Dior Homme. This is the original. There's also the Eau for men, and there's the Eau de Toilette, Eau de Parfum, different ones. But in general, as long as you get pretty much any normal-looking version of Dior Homme, which is not Dior Homme Intense, which is heavier and not quite as fresh, such a good scent. Of course, being from Dior, you automatically have that designer label. But yeah, this is a very wealthy smelling fragrance. And again, I believe similar to Chanel No. 5, this is around $90, I believe. So not quite in the, hundreds yet. Then, another one from the same brand. This is Gentle Fluidity. This is really good if you want something very cold, fresh, crisp, and natural. Has juniper berries in it, which are kind of like pine scented sort of thing. Very fresh. This is unisex, and I like to wear this during the daytime, especially during the summer when it's hot, because this will cut through the heat. So yeah, you won't, if you live in a hot or humid climate, this will really help you not only stay cool, but retain your freshness. So you don't smell like sweat at the end of the day. You'll smell like this. The last that I have is for those who prefer much heavier scents, kind of smoky scents. This is Tobacco Color from Dior. I also really like this one. This is definitely one of their more expensive options. It's around $300, definitely higher shelf sort of thing. But this is probably one of the best tobacco fragrances I've ever smelled, because a lot of times tobacco fragrances are too harsh, like just too much. Something is burning. But this is more of a smooth, velvety smoke. And it's just a nice, warm fragrance, especially good for the winter time or autumn, you know, when it's starting to cool off a little bit. Very cozy sort of fragrance, and at the same time, mysterious and seductive. So definitely a good choice for those who like the heavier fragrances, and of course, again, being from Dior, very luxurious just by default. So those are the main things that I have to say about how to smell like $1,000,000, just like as luxurious as possible. And it is pretty simple once you get down to it. The main thing is deciding, you know, what type of fragrance to wear at the end of the day. And of course, these that I mentioned are just a small handful of fragrances that are really luxurious smelling, really, you know, kind of give you an edge. So that's pretty much what I have to say about that. If you liked the video, leave a like, maybe subscribe. And I make videos throughout the week, so stick around for those.